Is it sci-fi or is it fantasy? In 12 Realms, you'd be forgiven for not automatically knowing. The cover art has a huge dragon, but it's also got a ringed planet in the sky. There are these fantasy adventurers using medieval gear and weapons. But what are these little moons? So let's clear that up in this video. Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a tabletop role-playing game designer working on 12 Realms, which is a fantasy game in development. And you should totally follow the Kickstarter pre-launch page. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers before launch. So your follow really does make a difference. So, is 12 Realms sci-fi or is it fantasy? It's fantasy. Pack it up. Got your answer? We can all go home. Actually, I guess I should say it's fantasy with a hint of sci-fi. Or at least there are a few elements we've come to associate with sci-fi scattered throughout. That planet is called Heru. It spins around in the habitable zone of its star. So all of its little moons, which actually aren't so little, can and do support life. They are the 12 realms. Each one is the size of a rocky planet, comparable to Earth or Mars. If you visited them, you could breathe the air, find drinkable water, and find edible food. And people live on each one of the 12 realms. Besides that, there might not be a whole lot of similarities among them. Each one is the ancestral homeland of one or more fantasy people, like dwarves, elves, humans, and so on. And you can travel between them. Does that mean people get in space shuttles and blast off for the nearest moon? No. It's mostly done by magic instead of technology. Magical spacefaring vessels. Magical portals that can transport you up to tens of thousands of miles away, as easily as walking through a doorway. And even magic creatures that can survive in space, and you might be able to catch a ride. So why bother to create this complex planetary system? Why have 12 separate realms and then a 13th one added late in the game? Well, I wanted there to be a reason to have dwarves and gnomes and elves and halflings and humans, which physiologically are pretty similar and yet very different. I wanted them to live so close to each other that they share a distant common ancestor. And then I wanted there to be lots of interweaving of DNA in all of the millennia since then. So that's the similarity. The difference is that they're all adapted to live in different environments, the environment of their home worlds. And finally, there's an ancient civilization whose society has crumbled into ruin. And these ruins are scattered across and throughout the 13th realm. When I say they're an advanced civilization, though, I don't mean technologically advanced. I meant they're advanced in their knowledge, in their understanding of how things work, in their magic. Were they building robots and supercomputers and spaceships? No, not really, unless there's a magical counterpart to those. If any of that sounds cool to you, hit the Notify Me on Launch button on the Kickstarter pre-launch page and stay tuned, we have a lot more to cover.